What up, y'all? It's your boy Dawson from D&D TV. Thanks for rating, commenting, and subscribing. Everybody who's donated and who will continue to, I appreciate it. Let's get into this story. This story is coming out of Florida again, y'all, my state. Up in Pensacola, of this man here who is now facing charges for allegedly not telling at least 2 sexual partners that he was HIV positive. Both women later say they learned they were infected. This man's name is Rashim Ike Bodiford. He's 25 years old and facing 2 felony counts of not telling a partner he was HIV positive. Now, I'm doing this story because we're seeing so many videos being done about this. Different news people are reporting on this, where people know they have sexually transmitted diseases and they are in relationships and not informing their partners of their current status. Now, I'm gonna let y'all watch this video and we're gonna come back with the rest of my commentary.
County, Florida man facing charges after authorities say he failed to tell 2 of his sexual partners he's HIV positive. News 5's Bryant Clerkley joins us now live outside of the sheriff's office to tell us how the women found out about his condition. Bryant?
Well, Roseanne, both those women are HIV positive, and the suspect, Rashim Bodiford, now faces 2 felony counts. Now, the arrest report says the investigation began in June of 2017 when a woman told deputies she was HIV positive. Authorities say when the woman filed a report and said Bodiford was her last partner, the woman told deputies she heard from several people Bodiford was HIV positive, but he never told her. Now, the woman told deputies she once saw Bodiford with HIV medicine, but he told her it belonged to his uncle. Now, in a second interview, the woman gave authorities names of other partners Bodiford had. Now, the sheriff's office made contact with a second woman who said she was in a relationship with Bodiford and had unprotected sex. Now, the woman told the deputy Bodiford did not warn her he was HIV positive. Now, the report also mentions interviews with Bodiford and his mother. Now, deputies say Bodiford admitted to being HIV positive, and his mother said he's known since 2012. Live in Pensacola, I'm Bryant Clerkley for News 5.
All right, y'all, let's go in. Now, first of all, I want to say to my people who listen to my show, even I know people, I have some friends who are HIV positive, some people I know who are in relationships with people who are HIV positive, and, you know, they take their medication and the other person is on PrEP. And if y'all don't know about that, we did a video about that some time ago. Learn about that stuff. Because there are a lot of people, and you may not even know it, who are living with HIV. And we can't be naive. It's just too late in the game. And, you know, it's 2017. I mean, there are people who are living with HIV. But on the flip side of that, I want to say this because y'all know I'm in the social service field, and being in this field has opened me up to so much. That's probably why I can do these videos and just let it come out like it does. If you are a person who is living with HIV, hepatitis C, herpes, genital warts, or any of the other STDs, and you are getting into a relationship with the person, or you have been into a relationship or a marriage and you contracted it because you stepped outside of that relationship or that marriage, you need to let your partner know, because it is dirty, it is low down for you to know that you have, in his case, HIV or herpes or anything else, and you intentionally go and have sex with somebody and you don't inform them. Now, according to the police investigation, the first victim that came forth actually stated that she had heard in the past from some people that Mr. Rashim Bodiford was HIV positive, but she apparently didn't believe them and continued on with a relationship with this man. And she said it was until she saw him with HIV medication that she began to really think, wait a minute, this dude really is HIV positive. But at that time, he told her that the HIV medication he had, he was selling it for his uncle. And you all heard that in June, she went to the health department and she got tested and found out she was positive. And then she began to give the police a list of women that he had slept with in the past. Now, for this young lady, I want to say this to her, to anybody who sees what she saw was that HIV medication that he had in his possession, as well as people in the community saying things about him being HIV positive. First of all, that should have raised a red flag right there. Just seeing the HIV medication, wait a minute, something's going on here, because not everybody just has HIV medication walking around. And I know people, yes, they said down here in South Florida, people do sell their HIV medication. I'll tell y'all that a little later. But that would have been a red flag for anybody. I don't know why you still stayed into a relationship with this man. And for a lot of women, especially women, but men too, before we get into the relationships, before we start dating people, we really need to go and get checked out together. No more of that. Let me see your paperwork when you go next week and I'll go this week. No. Let's go together. You taking our time to have sex. Why not take our time to go to the health department or to your private doctor or wherever you need to go and just make sure that y'all clean. And this goes for people who are getting married. Say y'all need to, while you're in your marriage, just, hey, randomly, let's go get checked out together. Because I'm telling y'all, I have a friend down here in Miami, and this girl just started working into a HIV unit down here in one of the hospitals. And the stories that she is telling me about some of the people she comes in contact with, both men and women, some people are in relationships, some people are married. When she told me about some of the women who had babies and they're HIV positive. The women are HIV positive. They were able to have the babies. The babies are not, because they took, they have medication for that to prevent that from happening. But these women stepped out on their marriages and are in relationships with men. My God. And their husbands don't even know. They're married to men, but they stepped out on their relationships and their husbands don't even know. They had a whole baby together. They're married. They don't know the woman is HIV positive. And of course, we can't break HIPAA's law and tell the husband that. And also with men too, who know they have something. And then they come back and they're HIV positive and they're taking their medication, and it's like you won't tell your wife because the doctors can't tell your wife. People will encourage you that if you're in a marriage with this lady or a marriage with this man, you need to let them know if it's real love. Why would you not let them know that? That is not love. That is a facade. There's no way on God's green earth that I could be in a marriage with somebody and know I have something and not tell them. I don't love them at that point. That's when you need to go ahead and get a divorce. That's not love. You just putting on a front for everybody. I don't care who you are. To have a disease, to have something that's life altering, and you stepped out on your wife, you stepped out on your husband, and you won't tell them what's going on with you for fear. Y'all could do that. I can't do that. Okay. I don't play those games. Nah, not that right there. Not if we already in a relationship. That's why I'm always telling y'all about being truthful and honest to people in your relationships. That's why I'm always saying, if you know you're going to sleep around and do what you want to do, don't go marry nobody. Don't go stepping out on marriages. My friend right now is HIV positive. Yeah, up in there. I think she says it's AIDS now, because her husband stepped out of their relationship. Girl grew up in the church, didn't know nothing about, the street life or hanging out and stuff. Grew up in the church, married a man. He came to the church, whatever. Stayed with that nigga until he died. She didn't know. And there's so many women like that. There's so many women who are going through this mess, man. And men go through it too. I understand that. There was a story down here in South Florida of this man. I remember a couple years ago, his girlfriend was HIV positive. He found out, I guess he found her paperwork or something like that, and he wasn't at the time. That man went and shot that girl in the neck on her lunch break at work, picked up from work and shot her in the neck, killed that girl in the parking lot. Y'all, you don't know how people are going to react when you withhold information like this from them. That's all I'm saying. Because even though I know everybody who's HIV positive, everybody who has a sexually transmitted disease, not everybody's going out there infecting people, but there are some who are. There are some people who don't care. There are some people who feel like, man, somebody done messed me up. I'm going to take as many people out as I can. There are people like that. Now, let me just say this. What Rasheem Bonifort did to these women, is just completely horrible. It's horrible. And there are men and women who have the same mindset that he had. That, yo, hey, I got it. And they don't really care. They're going to go out there and give it to somebody. It happens. Not everybody's doing that, but there are a lot of people who are. But let me tell y'all this. Make sure y'all go get those health screenings together. Make sure you know before you get into a committed relationship or into a marriage with this man or this woman what's going on with them. Now, as for Mr. Rasheem Boniford, he was booked into the county jail last week and is still in custody as of today. And he is on a $50,000 bond. So he's still in jail. And he needs to stay there. This was horrible to take away somebody's choice. You knew you had something that was life altering, and you chose to go out and intentionally infect these women. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. It's your boy Dawson. Oh yeah, I can't forget, I told you all that I would talk about selling HIV medication, especially down here in South Florida. In 2012, around this time, 2012, it was in November, I had a client who at the time I thought she had HIV, but later I found out she had AIDS. She died in the earlier part of December 2012. She had just turned 30. And I remember calling her case manager who she dealt with her HIV, and also talking with his supervisor and just really telling them, yo, my client is in the hospital. You know, she's on her deathbed and you all were supposed to give her medication and blah, blah, blah. And the case manager is supposed to make sure she's doing good. And the supervisor went over every day of the year, every month that my client came in during that year, 2012, to pick up her medication. And I'm sitting there listening to this supervisor saying, we have it here where she came in here and got medication. She came in this time. She came in this time and got medication. And even the month that she died, man, she came and got medication. And I'm like, well, what is this girl doing? What did she do with this medication? And come to find out that she was selling her HIV medication. She wasn't taking it. She was selling HIV medication. And I'm like, who is going to buy HIV medication? And then I was schooled on who does buy HIV medication. And there's a lot of people who buy. That was a tough time for me. I had never had a client that died up until that point. And just seeing this girl lying in the hospital bed, her family couldn't even be in the room with her. I stayed in the room until they put her like in some saran wrap plastic before they put her in the actual body bag and took her down to the morgue. I sat in the hospital room with the doctors because they were like, someone has to be in here, because if she had to make sure she doesn't have on any jewelry or anything, we don't want anybody to say we took anything. I had to watch them do that to that girl. A client, her family couldn't even stay in the room. All because, she did have AIDS, but she was selling her medication. And she left behind all of her kids that other people have to raise. Y'all, it's serious out here. We got to take care of our health. We got to know who we get in a relationship with. And we got to be honest going into these relationships. Y'all let me know what y'all think of this video. Please take care of yourself, take care of your health and each other.